Now, I know what the keen-eyed among you will say. You missed a part, Lothran. You got the videos mixed up, or you labeled the titles wrong. Keep in mind, I am who I am, and there is no one on Earth with more expertise in the art of telling stories from the heart of the Jackal than I. So I'm omitting Part 5 on purpose. You're not going to see it. You still get 5 parts, but you move past a part of the story that quite honestly reveals too much of the interwoven fabric of the other tales. And in doing so, you will be left with a thirst for so much more. I want you to experience that thirst and need to quench it. It's necessary as an engaged listener to feel that way. So we move on. Get the fuck over yourself. Ready yet? Okay. Go ahead. Grab that snack that won't be a drop in the bucket compared to the knowledge cravings you'll soon have. Try to settle into your favorite spot in wriggling anticipation. Attempt annoyed, agonizing struggles for comfort. You won't find it. Not here. Listen and peer as close as you can into the depths of Clutching Daggers, Part 6. Stop arguing and come and see me as soon as you can, alright? Rohar, just stop being so headstrong and come to my place. Cleta waited through the silence stretching between the two of them. Me? Headstrong? Of the two of us? Me? Oh, no, you have that slightly backwards. Why are you even so hung up on this guy? He's clearly dirty. And what I dug up, he was totally lying to you. Little brother, shut up right now. Silence. Come to my place. Cleta shoved a finger at her screen. Don't bring your blip. I know you don't like how bright and red he is, but that's no reason to forbid me to bring... Cleta cut him off. What an ass she is sometimes. She still had so much more to do. Cleta took a quick bucket bath. She'd sold her precious basin a month ago. Rohar would be shocked about that, and a bunch of other changes she'd forced into her own life, under no one else's instructions. She'd figured out insane things since then. She dried off and dressed, choosing functional, durable clothes and light leather armor, the best she could manage to gather and train in for the time being. She belted her short sword. Then, in a huff, and with a bit of frustration, Cleta took everything off. She'd forgotten to secure the leather strap and hardened cloth kilt, and this was the wrong shirt. Damn it all to hell and fuck it. She despised adventuring for this reason. She was always forgetting something rather too important in the wrong order. She never put on armor correctly. Cleta finally got it all set up, and in the right level of almost comfortable but still fairly miserable, when Rohar gated into her transport room, remembering to knock so he didn't repeat last time's mistake and see anything he didn't want to. Come in. Cleta set up 6 view screens, hoping her little brother remembered his old tricks. She smiled, seeing he was ready for a fight, glad that her past laziness had instilled a trait she could now use to her advantage in at least one of the people she still sort of trusted. So we both know I didn't call you here just to catch up, as I never really do. You only call when you want to. Or, correction, when you need things. I'm your family, and I love you, and it's been long enough since the last time that I've forgotten you for putting me through that, whatever it was. Too soon, probably. But I am a softie for my big sis, so here I am. Dependable, face-ripping Rohar at your service. To a point. He looked around the room, taking in the vast change since the last few times he visited. Wow. Wow, okay, you've been getting rid of some things. Maybe everything? Yes, I know. I was a filthy hoarder, and now I just have a few essentials. Clatta turned to set up a folding table and some chairs. There's drinks in the cooler beside your feet. Booze. I like booze. Oh, excellent. So much one flavor of booze to pick from. Cheap, regular beer. Good enough. Rohar snapped the top off of a bottle for himself. Then after a swig and a little bit of space, he popped the top off the second one and brought it to his sister's side, and she only had to jab him with a glare once. So what's this about? Clatta stalled him with the flat of one palm while she ran around the room in her gear, moving easily because of her excellent choice of garb and setting up a table on the far side of the room. Then she came all the way back to where her brother had taken up a seat, grabbed her beer, and sipped at the sweetly bitter brew. So? He asked, in between sips. You remember that glitch only you can pull off? Clatta asked. Rohar raised an eyebrow, just the one eyebrow. Is my sister asking me to go back to breaking the law? Clatta nodded, remaining eerily silent. He sighed, picking up the view screens that she had summoned and hacked a mute into each of them in turn. This stripped their safeties and killed them. A preserver would be here within the hour. He finished up in a minute or so, having 6 crystalline, worthless slabs to weigh down the top of the flimsy table. She snatched them up and ran back across the room, starting to sweat ever so slightly. Fuck, she was out of shape. This whole venture was going to be infuriatingly difficult. Upon arrival, she ordered Sprinkle to rest within the box she had set up, which became impossible because the little being couldn't force itself to fly close enough to the crystal box to actually rest within the space. Clatta fixed this by picking up a sword and leaving the lid half off so that her blip could fly into the confined space, and she could close the lid behind it. She waved for her brother to come over. Bring the beer, too. She cursed herself that she'd forgotten it at the other table. Clatta now stood next to the box without her blip inside freaking out or trying to escape, much too close than any blip normally would remain. Rohar obliged her, commenting when he arrived. I had no idea anyone but your friend could get this close to a blip. This is how he did it, Clatta replied, nodding her head. She summoned up the exact moment that changed everything in her mind. There he stood on his small homestead, now his prison, naked as the day he was born, or Nyctis smiling into the view screen in his hand. There was a babbling brook flowing right out of the wall, a house he'd built with his own hands, his greenhouses for growing various plants off to one side, a small pen and rolling grass-drenched hills for dozens of miles. Hello everyone, and welcome to The Truth. Nyctis turned with incredible speed, an unnatural quickness no one anywhere could seem to reproduce. He swung at his blip with the front of his view screen, laughing. He said those words before, many times, doing the same actions he'd just performed right now. No one can catch a blip. That's what the preservers tell you. Best not to try and waste your efforts. The next motion was different. He flipped the screen over, hiding the motion of the crystal in a trick sleight of hand. Clatta played the motion back for her brother several times till he caught on, and then Nyctis struck his blip with it. But the motion was hidden somehow. Catching the stunned creature in his other hand, that's the lie they tell, he addressed the view screen. You are in a prison. This is their surveillance system, he pointed to his injured blip, now out of commission on the ground. And they too are caught here. Are you all right, Ra? Nyctis sounded genuinely concerned for his little blip. Rebooting, the feed cut off with that last word, just like it had for 3 billion followers watching Nyctis's homestead reveal. A lot. but not so many in the trials and tribulations. There was a lot more than that here. So, now that you've seen the impossible replicated, Klata pointed down to the box, are you ready to accept that I'm right about him? Maybe, Rohar said as he scratched at his well-kept beard. You might change your mind after you hear. Not now. Summon your blip. I'm dressed like this for a reason, Klata said as she silenced her taller, more muscular, much more accomplished warrior little brother with a single shushing finger to her lips, and lifted off the lid holding her blip at bay. Won't they know? Rohar meant the preservers, and he only mouthed the words after sliding the lid back on the box, and raising one of his eyebrows again. I want them to, Klata replied. It's all part of the plan, she said as cryptically as she could. And so it is. We've come to the end of our time together. Much too fast it seems, at least for me, but that is how it must be. This was Clutching Daggers Part 6, another tale straight from the heart of the Jakuls. I have been your wonderfully pleased host, Lothran, and I guide all of you to the expert stylings of the one and only Brumble. Take us out, little worm.
Hello and good night to each and all. Kindly leave your comments, questions, and distilled joy down below. Like and share and tell all your friends to help us spread and learn and grow. And feed a hungry Brumble. That's me. And don't forget, we encourage each and every one of you to stay safe out there. Goodbye and good luck, everybody.